Hi guys, welcome back to episode 3 of Pixel Flicks. I am your host, Brian, and with me today, as always, is...
Ryan.
Oh,
Sorry,
that was
I
a
didn't.
delay.
I know I didn't take my cue there very well, did I?
That is dead air. We don't want dead air. Like,
No.
that's not good.
One of the big no-nos.
How you doing? You alright?
Wonderful. I've actually had some sleep, so that's
Nice.
2 nights. I had my watch on the other night there after, because we were both up quite late 2 nights ago or something, and
Friday into Saturday,
yeah, and then I had my watch on the following day to track my sleep, and I had 11 and a half hours sleep, so I feel much refreshed after that.
Nice. Good stuff.
How are you?
Tired. I was up too late last night. I was watching NFL. It's NFL playoffs just now, so I was watching that while I was playing Marvel Rivals, which have and this weekend, man. Nice. I realised, like I was saying to him earlier, like the other day, I was just like, oh, Marvel Rivals has been out since the 6th of December. How many hours do you think I've played? She was like, this amount, this amount. And since it's come out, I've played 120 hours of Marvel Rivals. So I have.
Nice.
Which I'm sure some people like have done more than that because like they sort of play every night or whatever. But for me, that's a lot. Like for a video game in such a short space of time, like a proper tandem.
Proud of you.
And I was doing like, I'm only like 7 trophies away from getting the platinum. So like last night and the night before, I was just like, I'm just going to try and do like the trophies because obviously you get like in-game kind of money and stuff, and so I unlocked the Star-Lord skin, and I'm now up at like 900 blue units or something like that now as well. Like, quite nice because I can maybe get a skin soon without paying for one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just doing like Iron Fist one, the Hulk one, like loads of them. I got really lucky last night with Rocket and Adam Warlock. I did that in the same game because I managed to get in a game with a bunch of people who went Guardians characters, so that's quite nice.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us, guys. In today's episode, we're going to talk about not much. I think we've only got one wee little news item just to discuss quickly. Then we've got a couple of trailers and a couple of questions that we're going to go over today. So it might be a wee bit shorter today, which may be a good thing because we did go for like an hour and 20 minutes last week. Before that, though, what else other than sleeping well? Is anything else you've been up to?
Nah, got to park. Stuff like that. Just getting out and try to burn small people's energy. Went to
make sure their energy not just burn small people.
Get them burned. I just got to parks and kind of stuff like that.
Nice.
You?
Nice. Not much. We stayed in this weekend. We played a board game on Saturday. We tried to play more board games at the weekend, and we played a game called Agricola. It was really good. But I'd played it once before, but like 17 years ago. Amelia had never played it, and it's quite a complicated game. It's a strategy game. You basically run a farm. And there's like 14 rounds, and every so many rounds there's like a harvest. So you've got to be prepared for harvest. So you've got to make sure that you've got things in place because you've got to make sure you can feed all your workers and stuff like that. And with 2 players, it should take about an hour. It took us 2.5 hours to finish it, so it did like nice. It was really good, but it was quite like my brain was a bit fried after it. Like, so I think we're going to play it again soon because like to get it in our head of how to play the games, sort of thing. Like, but it's good. It's a good game. I really enjoyed it. That's about it. Watched the Gladiators on Saturday night, which was quite good. There's a bit of needle in it, like between the gladiators and the contestants. It's quite. I don't know if you saw me in the chat talking to Bryden about it.
Yeah,
but it's quite like rough. Like I was quite like surprised at how physical they were being with each other. I was like, I don't remember like this when I was a wee boy. Like. And I was quite enjoying like there's just a bit of needle between the contestants and the gladiators. I was like, oh, I hope it's like this for the rest of the series.
Nice. I watched the first series of that, I think it was, and I really enjoyed it because me and Sophie would watch it together, and Obviously, like we were kids when it first came out, so I wanted to try and get her in it, and she was really enjoying it. But then I don't know, did they take quite a long break between the first and second series or something? Because it feels like it was a while.
First season was out last year.
Was it?
Unless they done a reboot before that I'm unaware of, but like I feel like the reboot that came out last year feels like the Gladiators when we were wee boys. Like it feels like the same sort of style, and like I love it. And just like there's a wee bit of pantomime going on in it and stuff like that. It's really good. Like I'm quite surprised how much I like it. So yeah. Anyway, so let's do you want to do trailers first, or do you want to talk about PlayStation's weird choices?
Go trailers first, because I feel like that's probably going to be more positive.
All right, so we'll do How to Train Your Dragon first. Did you watch that trailer? How to Train Your Dragon Warrior Trainer. Did you like it? You were saying, because you said on the first episode that you thought it looked quite good. You'd never seen the films. I've not seen them either, but you thought this looked quite good. How do you feel still?
I think it looks alright. It looks like it's going to be fairly faithful to the the animated version. Big Jerry Butler looks like he's maybe quite well suited for this type of role. The boy looks alright with it. Generally speaking, I think it looks like it's going to be good. Toothless, the dragon. Again, I'm quite happy that it looks like they're keeping to the look and the design of the animated. So everything looks positive for me, even though I've never seen the animated version. Everything for this looks positive to me.
Yeah. I don't really have any opinions on it. I don't know how I feel about it because I've not seen the animated. But like, if an animated didn't exist, then I'm not sure I'd see this trailer and be like, "Oh, I really want to see that. That looks really good." I can't take Gerard Butler seriously as an actor. I don't know what it is, and I always think this is crazy because like the first two things I saw him in was 300, which I love 300, like. And I love him in it, and then also then Rock and Roller. Do you remember that as well?
I never saw it, but I do remember that. Yeah,
and I really enjoyed him in that as well. I thought this guy's brilliant, and kind of like, do you know when you see an actor in something for a couple of times, like you used to think, oh, maybe I've got a new sort of favorite actor here, and then after that, it's just I don't know, just choices, just haven't been as good in my opinion. I just find him a bit hammy as well, like at times.
I think that's why I think he'll be well suited for this, is because
maybe
it's not as serious as maybe some of the roles that he's tried to take on in the past.
Yeah, it's maybe a good point. I hope you're right. But yeah, I mean, I'll potentially watch this. I should probably use this as an incentive to watch the How to Train Your Dragon animated films because they're quite well thought of by a lot of people. So I mean, to give them a bash. But yeah, I thought it was just a bit. I thought it was fine. Like it's. I might go watch it. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that'll be the same. Charlene and the boys have all seem and always speak quite highly of them, and I think they've got a couple of like teddies from back in the day, Toothless and whatever the white one is. So yeah, I think it is quite beloved by people of that kind of generation.
Yeah, and I think like it's obviously even though I've not seen it, it's obviously more popular than I would have thought. Even in myself, I know the name Toothless. Like it's not a like I would have. I would have. I feel like I would. If someone asked me the name of the dragon, I could have got there.
Yeah,
that probably shows you how popular it is. Yeah, this looks fine. Next trailer, and one I'm really excited about. I don't know if you are. Was the Daredevil Born Again trailer? I don't know how you feel about. Felt about that trailer.
Yeah,
quite a lot there.
Looks amazing. Looks like it looks like it's keeping, because I didn't know beforehand that it was carrying on from season 3 of Daredevil. I wasn't quite sure, to be honest. I've lost track of what they were doing with it. Because I think, was it not originally it was going to be a completely new thing?
I think it was. I think they were using at first the whole multiverse thing to get Charlie Cox into the MCU, and this is just from reading stuff online. And I don't know how true it is and how much weight is behind it, but I think like putting him in Spider-Man and seeing how much of a popular that decision that was to have Charlie Cox there as Daredevil, I think has then made them think, oh, maybe we should revisit some of the Netflix stuff. And I think the Netflix stuff is quite well revered by a lot of people.
Mhm.
Like, I've only really watched Daredevil and Jessica Jones. The first season of Jessica Jones and the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, which all 3 seasons I think are great. I couldn't finish Iron Fist, and I didn't get on too well with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is better than Iron Fist, but I never finished those series.
Yeah, I think I've maybe watched the first season or a bit of the first season of The Punisher, and I like that. But yeah, it looks like it's keeping in tone, or keeping in the same tone as maybe the first couple of seasons of Daredevil. So hopefully it does, because I loved that first season. Was amazing. It was so good, and it was nice at the time because it was like different from what the rest of the MCU was like.
Yeah.
But it feels like the MCU tone's a wee bit all over the place now, and especially with things like Deadpool and that, it's going to be again maybe a wee bit different. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. Action looks good. Interested by the story that we're going to get, and interested to see what some of the things in the trailers hinting towards, because it definitely seems like Foggy or somebody is going to get offed, I think. So yeah,
maybe. I thought this trailer was excellent. Like, do you know when you like? I love it when you watch a trailer for something that you're potentially excited, at least on paper excited about, and you need to see more of it or whatever. And then as soon as you finish watching, I was like, I need to watch that again. Like, I thought it was excellent. I love the just opening shot with Matt Murdock and Kingpin at that little cafe, and they're talking to each other, and like it's not entirely unpleasant to see you again. And then obviously like see Matt's like line later on, he's like, I was raised to believe in grace, but I was also raised to believe in retribution. And then the trailer like proper kicks in. Yeah. You just see all this like violence, like it's and I think because the trailer kind of teases you a wee bit at first. Like, I don't know if it's a deliberate choice from Disney or whoever they got to cut their trailer in terms of like, because you see like the sort of violence, it kind of cuts away from each punch and stuff like that, and you're thinking, oh, this looks a wee bit watered down. And then the last part of the trailer, and you're just like, oh no, shit, this might even be more violent than the Netflix series.
When he jumps in
the guy's leg.
Yeah. Yeah. Aye, that looks good.
But yeah, it looks great, and I think like you're right. The first season of Daredevil and the first, I always go back to season 2 is great as well. But I think the first 4 episodes of season 2 in particular, when it's basically Daredevil versus Punisher, I think are brilliant as well. I quite like that Frank Castle's back as well. John Bernthal's back as Frank Castle. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And obviously, you touched on tone there and how like the MCU's tone is kind of all over the place, and I think I just decided I'm okay with that, because I think like I saw like someone making a point the other day. I think it was what's his name, Hector, something from Heroes Reforged. He was saying about how like when you read a comic, like talking about Kingpin in particular, like he'll be in a Moon Girl comic, and like the tone of a Moon Girl comic is so like it's for kids, so it's like so I guess kid friendly in terms of like the tone and stuff like that. He says, but then he will be in the next Daredevil comic, and he went, it's the same in the comics, it's the same world, like it's the same Kingpin. He says like it's going to happen in the movies now. There's so many movies and TV shows and all that going on that you're going to see the same characters in films that are different tones. And for some people, I think it'll be hard to adjust to. They'll just be like, nah, this doesn't work for me. I think for me, I'm just going to embrace it and almost see everything in as individual stuff, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to enjoy things. I can't be bothered not enjoying things.
Yeah, let's get back to it.
Yeah. But yeah, looks great. I like Charlie Cox, and I like what's his name? What's his name, Ryan? Who plays Kingpin?
Why'd you do this?
I know it. What's his name? DeFario. What is it?
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, see, I knew we'd get there. Between the two of us, we made it.
Pros.
Yeah, we're the best. So just a wee bit of news. We've got a couple of questions to talk about. One is MCU related. But PlayStation, right? It would come out in PlayStation. It came out. There's a new story come out on Bloomberg this week from Jason Schreier. I can't say his name. It's really bad because I listen to his Triple Click podcast. It breaks a lot of stuff. Like he's quite a prominent journalist in the video game world, and he said how Sony cancelled 2 more PlayStation projects this week, but they were both related to live service. So they were, which to me is just bonkers. One is from Bluepoint, which I think is just the craziest thing ever, and one's from Bend Studios. I'm not saying Ben, I'm saying Bend. I know I keep sounding like it's saying Ben there. Bend Studios. I don't know if you have any opinions on this or any thoughts at all that you want to share with us.
Well, I think that I feel like I'm not maybe as clued up in some of this stuff, so I've done maybe better if you give a wee bit of background or a bit more information on it.
Yeah. So Ben Studios, I don't really know too much about Ben Studios. The last game Ben Studios did was Days Gone, which I think is fascinating in terms of like the live service. And then they've done like the Siphon Filter games, which were third person shooters. I'd never played them before. I think they were like third person shooter games. I think they were quite popular back in the day, but they go back to the 90s. And they did some like games for PlayStation Portal and PlayStation Vita, like some more Siphon Filter games and like Uncharted games and stuff like that. The Bluepoint Studios I find fascinating because Bluepoint Studios have one game that they created solely and put out. All their other games are remastered games. So they did the God of War collection, Metal Gear Solid HD collection. They've done Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, Shadow of the Colossus, Demon's Souls. Like they do remastered games, like, and they do them very well. Like obviously, Demon's Souls was released with the PlayStation 5 as a remaster. It's an incredible looking game. The Shadow of the Colossus remasters, very well done. So to get a studio who's quite prolific in remasters to do a live service game, that something I've never done before. That I'm not saying I don't have a problem with getting them to do their own game, but to do a live service game and a live service God of War game, whatever the hell that looks like, I've no idea. It just seems bonkers, especially when there's a little game on which we've both played a little bit of, not too much, but we have played a little bit of it, that people are crying out for. It is a Demon's Souls remaster. Not Demon's Souls, sorry, a Bloodborne remaster. Which would feel like an easy win for PlayStation. Like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Get it on PC as well, so you can sell more copies. But to do a live service God of War game just seems crazy. And then even on the Ben Studios thing, where Days Gone, I've not played Days Gone, and I don't think it did too well critically when it came out. I don't think it did terribly, but I don't think it did maybe as well as what PlayStation wanted. But I think it's a game that the fans that have played it really love it and really enjoy it. And so, like, even get Ben Studio to do a sequel to that, which PlayStation have come out and said quite categorically. Oh, I can't say it. They said definitively that there's not going to be a Days Gone 2. Which to some people is a bit upsetting. Yeah. Strange.
Yeah. I feel though like live service games in general struggle, or there always seems to be bother with a lot of live service games.
Even the free ones?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? It's so hard to hit, like, with a live service game. And PlayStation were doing, apparently, like, there's also some people saying, like, they had, like, 10 on the go at one point, PlayStation. Now, we've already had Concord cancelled. We've already had Factions 2, the Last of Us 1 cancelled. That was cancelled a few years ago. Now you get Bluepoint, God of War, and then Bend Studios. But it's crazy that they would have been competing against each other as well. And so it just feels like such a bonkers move. Like I was saying, like, Bluepoint could have done like if you wanted to give them their own, they might maybe that studio wanted their opportunity to create a game from scratch. Maybe they had some or like a that wasn't a remaster, but there was a rumor kicking about for a while that Blue Point were working on a Uncharted game, like a new Uncharted game. So taking that over from Naughty Dog and doing a game, which feels like that would have made more sense for them because they've already remastered the Uncharted collection. So there's a bit of like history with that franchise for them as well. Just a bizarre choice.
I think as well, when you think, I think you mentioned it on the last or the first podcast that like games like even big games like the Avengers live service one or the was it the Suicide Squad one as well, and just like big IP that still doesn't do well as well. I feel like you're kind of up against that a wee bit with the live service games. So I don't know if maybe they thought using having the God of War kind of title to would be a draw for people to play these type of games, but I don't feel like there's much demand out there.
I just don't know what a live service God of War game looks like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think like, but I think the Suicide Squad and the Avengers thing is, of just proves that IP's not enough. It'll get people there at the start. Do you know what I mean? It'll get people to be like, do you know what? I'm going to give this a go because I love Marvel or I love DC or I love God of War, whatever. But it won't make people stick around, and that's the key. Yeah, I think you need to have appealing gameplay, good mechanics. Do you know what I mean? It has to be fun. It has to feel balanced. It has to feel like fresh. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see where they were going with this. And with PlayStation, you would have had to buy them as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. Yeah, strange, just really strange, and it feels like to me as someone who plays. There's probably no secret that we're too. Our consoles are PlayStation. That's I do have an Xbox and a Switch as well, but my console I play the most on is on PlayStation. Even just little things, the UI and all the rest of it. I love the way the PlayStation's set out compared to the other consoles, and the single player games are the ones I enjoy the most. And it just feels like the PlayStation 5 era's been a bit wasted with this short-sightedness of like, oh, let's get that live service money. And I understand why they would want it, but that's not, I think I said this last week, that's not why people come to PlayStation. People come to PlayStation, I think, for that elite single game experience that I'm not sure it's story driven like that you can get elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So boo. We're talking about booing. I booed a wee old woman yesterday on Saturday. Sorry, I was like waiting to park, and it was one of the spaces like, do you know when it's like on the end of a row, but there's like no curb or anything like that, so you can just drive in from the other side.
Yeah.
And I was waiting to just like turn into it, but she just like this wee old woman just drove in and then reversed back into it, and so I was like booing her, but I was like boo, but I gave her a thumbs down. But I was laughing, like I was trying to be like pantomime and kind of joke, but she wasn't impressed. And then like after that, I was in the car, like I was waiting in the car because we had Harley with us. Harley's a dog, so she can't come into the shop. For those who don't know. And then so Amelia's in the shop, and then the car that was next to me, had plenty of space. There was another like a bunch of wee old women, and the women in the passenger seat opened their car door and slammed it into my car. And I turned around like quite annoyed because it was just like, what are you doing? Like, and she looked at me like I was the problem. Like it was me. It was my fault. I was like, I shake my head. I was just like, oh.
What happens when you park across two spaces, Brian?
I never parked across two spaces. Do you know what? I even went in and I was like, oh, I need to come back out and just straighten up a bit. And Amelia was like, oh, it's fine, you're not getting out. I was like, I know, but like, I just want to give the person next to me enough space to get into their car.
Never
enough spaces not having been parked there. Cool. Yeah, so that's PlayStation. Be better. I want more good games, please.
Yes, please.
Cool. So a couple of wee questions that we've got. One is from Papa Doug. Thanks, Papa. And one's from Jack in the Box again. So, first question is, which MCU movie or TV series would you like to get a sequel for? Ideally, one that we've not already had a sequel for.
So I've got three for this. I think one of them is probably lined up, and then the other two, I think one's been speculated, and there's not been a mention of the third one. So, first one I've got on my list here is Shang-Chi.
Yep.
I suspect we will get something for that in the future, but I don't think there's actually been anything announced. But I feel like there's plenty there. It was well received. It did well, if I remember rightly, in the box office, and so I think there's plenty going for it for a sequel. Built a good world and left, as we again I think we mentioned last episode, kind of left some unanswered questions. So I would like to see something more from that. Thoughts?
That would be my first pick. Is Shang-Chi. I loved Shang-Chi. I thought it was really good. I can't believe we've not even seen him in anything else. I think that's crazy. I'm not too sure how it did at the box office, because it would have come out during. Did it come out during COVID or just before COVID?
Can't remember. I think maybe after. I think it came after.
And so I'm wondering how much impact that might have had on it. You came out in 2021, so I think it might have done it. But I saw, it's weird. I actually saw a clip for this on, I don't know if it was on TikTok or whatever the other day. Just someone talking about Shang-Chi. It only did like 360 million worldwide, but I feel like 2021 was terrible for cinema in general, like movies making money.
I think it's hard to judge it based on that because of the environment that it was released within, so it's more difficult.
I really enjoyed it. I think Simu Liu, who's in it, is excellent. I really like him. We watched me and Amelia, we watched Kim's Convenience Store before Shang-Chi came out, so we were already familiar with him and liked him in that. I think he's great at the action. Some of the action in Shang-Chi is really good. The bus scene in particular is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I like all the stuff at the end as well. I love this. I love this stuff like with and then, do you know the sort of fight with his dad has with his mum near the start? Like it's kind of like sort of referencing things like Hero and House of Daggers and stuff like that. House of Flying Daggers. Like, I love all that stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And that would be the top of my list. Is one I'd like to see again. I think we will get one. I think there's been. I read something the other day, that they're beginning filming in 2026.
Oh,
but again, it's just rumor stuff. It's nothing confirmed by Marvel yet. It's just rumors. So I hope that's true. I'd like that to be true. I'd really like a new Shang-Chi film.
Yeah.
But there was also rumours of like a Ten Rings TV series as well at one point, and we never got that. And the Ten Rings seems quite like fascinating. I think you brought this up briefly on the first podcast about like end credit stuff. Like the Shang-Chi one felt like, oh, this is going somewhere. This one feels quite like quite exciting, and it felt like it was it felt like a focus point of the next phase of like, and we've never really had that since the Infinity Stones, but it would have been nice to have something that they were focusing on, like that was going to lead to a big, I guess, like the Avengers films, but they're just jumping straight in.
Yeah.
And I know we're not talking about this, but it's kind of bonkers that the next Avengers film is like Doomsday. Like, there's no like just a wee Avengers film beforehand. Like,
I know. This whole phase or this whole saga that we're in, it feels really messy, and I'm hoping it'll get back on track at some point in the near future, but it feels really messy.
I wonder if that's what Secret Wars is for, though, to like reset it all, because obviously that's kind of what it does in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if then we'll get new Iron Man, new Captain America. Do you know what I mean? Like characters that were a bit more, not traditional, that's not the right word, but like, do you know, like, so that they can have these characters along with some of the other characters as well.
Um,
Is there any other movies or TV shows?
yeah, so that's not the one I would want most. I think the one I would want most was a TV series. Goes by the name of Moon Knight. I love Moon Knight, and I think again that's been another one that's been hints that they're going to be doing it. I think I did see something not that long ago saying that they were planning and doing a second season, but definitely I loved again the world that Moon Knight had built, and yeah, I just loved that TV show. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Everything about it, and I just think he's a great character.
Yeah, I really liked Moon Knight as well, especially that fourth episode when they're in the sort of. It's not like the after. Is it? Is it like before the afterworld or something like that? Remember when they sort of dies and then like he's in that sort of it's like an insane asylum, but it's like that episode is so good, man. Like, but yeah, I would be on board for that as well. The TV shows I was looking at them, there's nothing that stood out to me massive, but yeah. It was all things I'd like, but I'm not like desperate for them. Like Moon Knight, definitely. Miss Marvel, I really enjoyed that. I'd happily watch it. I think she's a great little character. The girl that plays Miss Marvel, I think, is really charming. I think she's excellent in the role. Iman Vellani, is it? Vellani, I think. Hawkeye as well. I enjoyed Hawkeye series. So did like and the reason I think I'd like a Miss Marvel and a Hawkeye series is because like WandaVision you can't I don't think you can have another WandaVision. So I think Agatha probably is the second Wanda series, if that makes sense. I enjoyed Agatha. I thought it was quite good. Falcon and Winter Soldier, I think, is big screen only now. I don't think we'll see another TV series of that. I'm not sure I want one. But like the reason why Hawkeye and Miss Marvel is like they were both fun. The stories weren't. I think they can be quite contained, especially Hawkeye. Like I don't think it has to be part of a big thing, especially if this Hawkeye season 2 you focus on Kate instead of Clint.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. I think I would actually rather see Kate Bishop than Clint. I think there's a lot more you can explore with Kate and her and Miss Marvel together. I think would be a good team up and one that I'd be interested in seeing for sure.
And I think the nice thing is like with Kate is that Clint can always be there. Do you know what I mean? As like a mentor type character. Like, but I think she was really good in it. That Haley Steinfeld, like she's pretty good at. She's good in everything. To be fair, like she's in, but she was excellent as Hawkeye. I really loved her scenes with Florence Pugh's. What's her name? But man, I'm so bad at remembering names these days. Yelena, innit?
Yeah, Yelena.
I loved those scenes together. I thought they were excellent, like really good. So yeah, they were the TV series for me. You see, I've got one more.
I feel it's a bit a strange choice, but it would kind of probably involve going back in time with the MCU, but something Incredible Hulk related. So not the Incredible Hulk version, obviously the Ruffalo version of Hulk, but I'd like to see us get something for him. So whether it be a what do you call it? What's the series I'm thinking of? Tell me.
Well, so there's rumours of a World War Hulk, which I think is the wrong part of that series. Planet Hulk's is the superior comic, but I think the problem with that is like they've kind of touched on Planet Hulk themes a little bit with God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So maybe go back and show us the time of when he got there. And
I know, but Planet Hulk, he ends up becoming the ruler and stuff like that, doesn't he? Like, is it? And so, World War Hulk as well is obviously it's kind of like the Hulk against the Marvel Universe. Like it's kind of like his version of that, and it's good. It's a good comic, but the Planet Hulk is one of the best comics in my opinion ever written. It's so good. So there is rumours. I'd be on board Do you know what I want from my Incredible Hulk? And I hate saying this because I feel like I'm becoming like all these like people online, just criticize stuff. And because I've been okay with like Professor Hulk and all the rest of it, but I would like to go. I want to see him smash stuff.
Yeah. Aye, we don't
Like,
really see it enough.
I'd like to. I think there's a big missed opportunity in Endgame. Like, I think like so someone talking about how like in Infinity War when he's sort of scared, like he's like coward Hulk, if you want, like you kind of thought on Endgame he's gonna go like mental and like tear it up, but he obviously doesn't. And you got Professor Hulk, and I don't actually have a too big a problem with that, but I would like to see him like smash, like
Yeah.
so it. Yeah, no, that's fair. The only one that I would like, and I think I'm one of the like handful of people that like this film, and I don't necessarily want a sequel, but I'd like to see those characters again. Is the Eternals?
Yeah, that
Just
was on my list, yeah.
just in other things. I think the Eternals is an excellent film. Uh,
Mhm.
I think it's got pacing issues for the first hour or so. Does jump about a lot, like jumps from scene to scene quite quickly. But I think once it gets to like, do you know the Barry Keoghan character? Is it Droog or
Yeah,
something like that?
Jude, I think.
Once they meet back up with him, really really good. I think is it Macari, the speedster, is excellent in
Yeah.
it. Like I loved the action at the end. I thought it was great. I thought uh, Madden was excellent in it. I thought he was great, like as Icarus. And I'd like to see, like I'm not necessarily saying another Eternals film, but I'd like to see those characters in the MCU again. I think it'd be a shame for some of them were good, and so yeah, I enjoyed that film.
I feel
I
like
would
it's
like another Dog. Sorry, I was just gonna say I would like another Doctor Strange sequel. Multiverse of Madness is. I'm a bit mid on it. I don't.
yeah.
There's bits of it I love, and there's bits of it I'm a bit like, oh, that's a bit not so great.
Yeah, but again, that feels like something that was maybe don't want to say a missed opportunity because it wasn't a missed opportunity, but it could have been better than what it was. I think, as you say,
Yeah.
it has some really good stuff in it, but it feels like a film that maybe lost its way a wee bit as well.
You know the thing that I find weird in the with the Doctor Strange, I think, and they should have just had like the all the people in Doctor Strange. Like, you know, they come in and you've obviously get Mister Fantastic played by John Krasinski, and then you get Captain Marvel and Captain Britain and all the rest of it, and Professor X. And who was the other one? Oh, you had your man
Black
who's in the
Bolt.
first.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you had the guy as well who's in the first Doctor Strange. He's a wee pal. He's wee,
Baron Mordo.
aye. They were kind of played by other people, and we met a few strangers in that film, but they were all played by Benedict Cumberbatch. And I think it would have been good to have a strange that wasn't him,
Yeah,
just to be like people can look different and be different in other universes. Especially when you get a Spider-Man film kind of next to it, and all three Spider-Men don't look like each other.
yeah.
Like, but yeah, there's quite a lot of stuff I'd like to see more of.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the nice things about the MCU is like it's not necessarily like you don't necessarily need sequels. It's just things that like I would like to see Ant-Man again, but not necessarily in an Ant-Man film. But I would like to see him back in a film. Like I enjoy the Ant-Man character,
Yeah, yeah. He's
and I
always
actually
good.
think he's potentially better when he's in like Civil War and Endgame. Like, I like that he's a wee bit silly, isn't he, in terms of his personality, and he bounces
Mhm.
off the other characters quite well.
Yeah, yeah. I always love that bit when he's trying to eat the tacos out,
Damage. Oh right, oh no, no, yeah,
and
aye.
then the ship comes down and just blows it away
Yeah,
from.
Nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just when he's sort of like, it's like when they like try to explain time travel and stuff like that as well. He said he didn't he pick a film that he's like Die Hard.
Yeah. Aye, his wee face.
Aye, it's good. And then when he meets Captain America for the first time as well,
Yeah,
like
aye.
that's good. Yeah, nice one. That does the MCU. But yep, three MCU films out this year. We've got a Captain America sequel. We've got Thunderbolts, which I guess is a we see some characters coming back, Bucky and Yelena, and Red. What's he called? What's David Harbour's character called?
Red Guardian, is it?
Red Guardian. Aye, that Ghost, Taskmaster. Captain America Light is coming back as well.
You're like the Taskmaster, and that is a bit of a weird one. I didn't really like Taskmaster, and
Because they kind of like save it at the end of Black Widow, don't they? Do you know what? Like, see, Taskmaster and Black Widow's terrible though. Like, and I have no problem with it being a female. That's not the issue. Is if you played the like Taskmaster, like in the Spider, my only connection with Taskmaster is in the Spider-Man game, right? I've never read any. I've obviously read quite a lot of comics. Taskmaster has never been in them, like. But in the Spider-Man game, he's kind of like, and this might be a bad comparison, so sorry to anyone, if anyone listens who knows comics inside out, to the Riddler. Like, in the game, he gives you tasks that you've got to complete or stuff will happen. Like, find all these bombs and do you know what I mean? And I feel like, how much of a better villain would that be if that was Taskmaster? Not only, like, a physical presence who can fight and can go, like, hand-to-hand combat, toe-to-toe with you, but also being like, there's a bomb on this in this building, or there's like these people, and there's going to be gas set loose or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that would have been a much more appealing villain. I don't have a problem with the villain. I mean, other than the performance of the villain in Black Widow, and like the theme around like the sort of like the Black Widows is good and I know that's probably the story they want to tell. But don't use Taskmaster then. Like, save Taskmaster for another movie.
Yeah.
And then the next question from Jack in the Box we've got is, who is the best / worst villain? And I don't know if he means by, when he says worst, like as in they're rubbish, or worst as in like they're terrible when terrible people, like they do the worst of things. I don't know how you want to answer that. Probably answer best first. We can answer best first, whoever. So if this is for movies and video games, like, do you have a list of your best villains?
Yeah, so my best for movies, I've only got one, but it's because I think, to me, he is by far the best. It's going to be the mighty Thanos. I love Thanos as a character, and you can't see him behind me, but I've got a number of things relating to Thanos behind me. I just think he's great, and it's like Jack had said in the Discord, he'd mentioned like relatable or characters that you can understand their motivation, and I feel like Thanos is one of those ones that he's just he can see the devastation that's been caused in the past by greed or there not being enough to go around, and so he's thought up of a way to try and resolve that issue. And I've seen plenty of stuff in the past about, well, he could have just doubled the resources for everyone, and in that way there wouldn't be that problem. But then, I can understand his motivation of, well, greed will breed greed, and so people will just want more and more, and whereas people will be more grateful if you take away half of those people. So, for me, the best, my favourite movie villain is the mighty Thanos.
Any honourable mentions?
For movies, I actually also have here Mr. Glass from Unbreakable.
Great, a good one. I never thought of that. That's a good one.
Yeah, I love him again. And I suppose probably for the worst, I feel like he might fall into the worst for what was Split. I didn't enjoy him in Split at all, but for Unbreakable, I thought he was great. Because he wasn't like your idea of a supervillain in that he's cackling and laughing away and doing all these obvious evil, devious things. And there's a nice reveal at the end of the movie that he's the one who's the the actual villain in the movie when he's been searching for the hero. He's been searching for his counterpart. So yeah, I just loved his story.
Yeah, and it's good. It is good. I remember when the first time I watched Unbreakable. I really enjoyed that character. It's difficult. Thanos is my favorite as well, so it's quite difficult to and you like he's just such a great performance. And I know it's all CGI, but like Josh Brolin, like he's got the perfect voice for that character as well. He's really good. Such a great idea for a film as well to have the villain be the main character. Like,
And
yeah,
he's sorry, but he's like a proper menacing villain. Like you
aye.
mentioned earlier on, where in Endgame Hulk is coward Hulk, and that's because of Thanos. That's because he battered him, absolutely battered him in Infinity War, and he wasn't willing to come back out basically because Thanos was.
To be fair though, Thanos did look like he had some sort of martial arts training when he fought Hulk, and I'm not sure Hulk's had that training.
But still, like somebody who can stand toe to toe with him and beat him down, like he absolutely battered Hulk.
That one scene where it's like Thor's pretty much dead. Like he kills Loki. Like he's not deceived by Loki, which is quite rare for anyone. Do you know what I mean? The way he puts his sword through Heimdall's chest, like just it's brutal, man.
He's not even got any stones by that point. Like, but when he's doing all this, he's just Thanos.
He's got two, hasn't he?
He's not wearing them, is he? He's got
the power stone, and then he takes the other stone off Loki, didn't he?
But did he does have that on?
I don't think I'm sure he's got the power stone at that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Still,
do you know who I really like in that film that we don't get to see enough of? Ebony Maw.
Yeah, Maw's amazing.
Aye, great man. He could have been a villain of his own film.
Yeah,
like can you imagine like Doctor Strange 2 if they not went down the mountain and they had like an Ebony Maw like is the I know he couldn't because that point he's dead in their films, but like felt like not a waste because he's great in Infinity War, and I think you need an extra like because Thanos can't be everywhere. You need obviously the Black Order to be good, and I like all of them, but him in particular he's really good in that.
Yeah, him and Strange had a good wee bit of chemistry together in that bit in the street.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah, Thanos I agree with. I think we need to mention Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few here, like I think that are really good. I think the Joker, specifically for me, Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah,
I think it's really good, and actually probably Mark Hamill's Joker in Batman Arkham games as well. Just to touch on games for a quick second is excellent. Your favourite Christmas villain, Hans Gruber.
Yep.
Another Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, he's good.
The T-1000 from Terminator is good. I think one that I really like that, and I've only seen this film once, but I was just trying to think of ones that weren't like Marvel and Star Wars. Is see that I don't know how to pronounce his second name. This character, but it's Javier Bardem that plays him. That Anton Chigurh or whatever he's called from No Country for Old Men. Have you seen it?
Nah, I've never seen it. I know.
Honestly, like such an incredible villain. Like I think the first time you see him, if I'm right, I don't know if it's the first scene, but I'm pretty sure it is. Is he like he's in a petrol station and he doesn't really talk and he kind of gives the guy a chance to live by like kind of like almost like Two-Face-esque, like with a coin, and then like he's just such a menacing villain. Like he's so silent. Yeah, if you've not seen No Country for Old Men, I'd really recommend it. Do you like the Coen Brothers? I'm very hit or miss on Coen Brothers, but
Yeah, I think I'm the same. But no, it's one that's I think it's been on my list for a while that I need to watch. So maybe because me and Charlene obviously are always like, oh, what will we watch tonight, and come to a bit of a blank. But I think I might say it about that one. I've got that A Real Pain as well. I was going to try and get watched because that's now available to me. So I'll maybe try and watch one of those two in the coming week.
Any other villains that you like?
For movies, I hadn't noted anybody else, no, but I would agree with pretty much everybody that you've mentioned there. For gaming, I have. I found gaming a wee bit more difficult. I don't know why. I've just drawn a bit of a blank, but I had Balder from God of War. I really liked him as a
Yeah,
villain.
great. Yeah.
Again, I kind of put down as being menacing and persistent, deceptive, as to because he comes
It's
across
just
as
like
a wee scrawny
troubled as
guy.
well.
Yeah,
Like he's like his character's really good in that first game. Well,
yeah.
not first game, but the new adaptation of it.
Mm-hmm. So I had Balder. I thought he was really good. And then Fallout 4, or probably most of the Fallout games, but Fallout 4, and yourself as being the main villain because you can play it kind of good or bad. And if you want to be bad, you can be a really bad boy in it. So I, I put yourself as being the villain in it because you can kill loads of people and do steal loads of stuff and just do loads of really bad stuff in it if you want to. So you can be the best worst villain if you wish to be. Oh, sorry,
Nice.
so that's the best villains. Yes.
Yeah. Fallout. I've only played Fallout with you, and was it 76 we played? Was that what we were playing? We played a little bit of it for a few hours.
Yeah.
Um, Video games. There's loads that came in my mind. Obviously, there's the two. Maybe like there's not two. There's a few classics from when you were kids, and a bit like Bowser and Doctor Robotnik. Obviously, come to mind as being quite iconic villains, but a few that came out that stuck out in me. There's one in Metal Gear Solid that I absolutely love, and I don't know I don't know how popular it is. I've only played the first Metal Gear Solid game, but it's a guy called Grey Fox. I love the fight with him, like the actual boss fight itself. It's really good. But I think what other games that I really like bosses. I like the boss in BioShock as well. The villain in BioShock. He was really good. The first BioShock game. What's his name again? He's called. I don't know what his name is. Andrew Ryan. He's really good. But you've not played BioShock, have you?
No.
It's good. He's good. Sephiroth, obviously, Jack mentioned that in the chat. Like that was he obviously mentioned plans for movies. He mentioned Sephiroth. Sephiroth, I love as a villain. Uh, and he's definitely one of my favorite villains. Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite franchises. Like, played the original, played the remake and Rebirth, and I love them. I love that cast of character. I think all the characters are great, from the villains to the heroes. Sephiroth's definitely up there. He's a wee mummy's boy, so he is. He never got hugged enough as a child, and just needs to be the best person in the world. But for me, my favorite villain is a side villain in a video game. It's a character called Higgs from Death Stranding, who is just the performance from Troy Baker in Death Stranding. And I don't know if you know Troy Baker. You will, but you might not know the name.
Know the name.
Troy
I can't
Baker
think.
famously played Joel in The Last of Us.
All right. Yeah.
I think he's the best voice actor in video games. Like, he's in everything. He plays Nathan Drake's brother Sam in the Uncharted series. He plays Joel in The Last of Us. He plays Higgs in Death Stranding. He plays Indiana Jones in the new. He does so many video games because he's the best. But Higgs in particular, I think, is one of the best villains in video game. I just love his personality. I love his character design. Even I just love how sort of twisted he is. There's a scene in Death Stranding, just spoiler alert, where he takes he gets one of the characters. So Death Stranding, I don't know if you know much about Death Stranding, but there's a thing called timefall where it's like the rain, and if your skin makes contact with that rain, it ages your skin, so it makes it like all wrinkly, and it sort of ages you. But there's one character he sends out into the timefall, and she's quite a prominent character. Where he puts like a gas mask over her head so that her face doesn't age, but the rest of her body does, and sends her out into the timefall. It's just quite a character's called Fragile that he does it to. It's just quite a twisted scene. But he's just such a cool character. I love him. I just think he's the best. I was just quite obsessed with him, like in that video game.
Nice.
Great video game. I think you'd like that game if you got into it.
Yeah, I just need to find the time to kind of dedicate
It's quite
to single player.
It's quite a lengthy video game. Second one comes out this year. I'm buzzing for it. I am buzzing for it. And obviously, like I think it's one of those games as well. One of the characters who you think is the villain at the start of the film isn't the villain. Like at the start of the game, it said film, but it does feel like a film. Quite just isn't the villain, and who you potentially think is maybe good. Is like there's lots of twists and turns in Death Stranding. So there is. So
nice,
really good game. Love it. But yeah. Those would be my picks for movie and video game villains. There's loads, isn't there? Like I think like we're not short of any. I mean, even Star Wars. Like we've not. Did we mention Darth Vader or Palpatine, Kylo Ren? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just Star Wars itself. Like, so he's listed, which is a good one for my children. The Sheriff of Nottingham from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, probably just because you mentioned that, they're actually like Maul, but specifically Maul from the Clone Wars series. Like, he's amazing. He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I say this all the time, but the last 7 episodes of season 5 and Clone Wars, when you've got Maul and his brother, and they fight Palpatine, and it's the fall of Mando, like and stuff like that. It's so good. It's just peak Star Wars.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other ones that come to the top of my head in terms of video game villains. But yeah, Sephiroth and Higgs are two that are up there. I think there's some like and then this isn't the question, but like there's some memorable boss fights from like Elden Ring and stuff, but villains, I don't think I could put them as like the best villains, because I think with Elden Ring, as much as I love it, it's quite confusing, like the plot and the story, so it's quite hard to feel that emotional connection. And I think your connection with those characters is like how challenging was the boss fight? Do you know what I mean? Like, or how like the Radahn fight in the Erd Tree is stupid hard, and in the first Elden Ring, it's quite challenging, but it's more fun than challenging, that fight, I think.
I think with Elden Ring is it's just, I find the storyline confusing. I love the game, but I still don't fully understand
I've not
what I'm fighting for. Yeah, I don't really.
And then people go at us like, obviously some people, I don't know why we're going on this subject, I'm just ranting here. People go like, oh, it's bad storytelling. I'm not sure that's true, but people go like, oh, it's not bad storytelling. It's just like you just need to go find it. And I'm just like, I'm not sure that's good storytelling if you have to go find like the.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a certain designed way of storytelling, isn't it?
Yeah, I think there's maybe a good story there if you want to find it, and if you don't want to, then it's not there, and so that's why maybe the game works so well, is it's got the gameplay to support it, and you don't need the story as such.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump on it Elden Ring. It just came into my head there.
You jump on Elden Ring anytime you like.
It's good, isn't it, man? Yeah. Like, it's a very, very, very good game. We need more good games. The Elden Ring sequel thing coming out this year. Yeah, I'm trying to quickly think of any other good movie villains. I've not played the Resident Evil games. Sorry, so I know they're quite popular villains, aren't they? Is it Mr. X? Is he?
Wesker's your main kind of. He's the big bad from Resident Evil. I've actually got that for. So I took the question being best and worst, as in the worst being not good villain, and I've kind of got a Resident Evil 1 on that list.
Go for it. What have we got?
So from Resident Evil 7, I loved the game. The first half of the game, anyway, is amazing. Like, it's like a proper haunted house type game. It's just the first half of Resident Evil 7's brilliant. And I don't normally do too good with scary games.
Is that one called Biohazard? Is that one?
That one, yeah. First half is just brilliant, and then it does what probably a lot of Resident Evil games do, and it starts getting a wee bit silly. But the boss is revealed to you at the end of the game, and the boss fight's rubbish. It's just rubbish. It's just not a very good boss fight, and I feel like it just takes away anything good from what the game is doing. I feel like the game's building up to a big battle, but you don't really get it, and the boss has been hidden the whole time in the game, and then you eventually fight them at the end. And it was just a bit of a disappointment, I felt, for how good the first half of the game was.
It's funny how a bad boss fight at the end of the game can take away from it a wee bit, because I feel the same with Uncharted 3. Like, it's not necessarily a bad villain in terms of quality, but the fight itself is just like a little quick time thing. Yeah. And there's not a lot to it. It's not difficult. It's not. And boss fights don't have to be difficult for them to be good, but there should be some sort of fun element or challenge to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want them to be hard.
Yeah, you want to feel, yeah. This coming from two guys who happily put games on easy, but you want to feel like you've done something.
The boss, so they should be the hardest one to beat, in my opinion.
Worst, I don't know worst villains.
I've got a few more. So for games, I had one more for gaming. I had Odin from God of War Ragnarok, because
I like it. I know you couldn't get over the accent, could you?
No, it just bothered me too much. And albeit I didn't finish the game, so I can't really say properly, but that just put me off so much.
Just to go into spoiler territory though as well. Like, I get the accent thing. I do, like, because when they first comes, and I like it's Richard Shear that's he's in from the West Wing and stuff like that. He's actually plays Toby in the West Wing. Is my favourite character in that TV show. But I understand, because when he first comes on, I'm a bit like, oh, that's a bit jarring. Like, with his sort of accent is quite thick and like, but as it goes on and like the more time you spend with him, like the accent, I kind of like at least me personally, I forgot about it, like, and just enjoyed the character. And like, I love, like, in that game how he sort of like tries to like seduce Loki or is it Atreus? Yeah, he tries to sort of seduce him. Do you know what I mean? And win him over, and just the way he goes about, he's such an evil bastard, man. Like, I think he's I think he's really good in that game, actually. Like, but I get it because if you've only played so much of it, and maybe he was putting you off a wee bit. I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
definitely was a turn off.
That's fair, but no, actually, really, I really like that. And just that game. I was actually thinking this when you mentioned Boulder before. Like, all the characters in that game are so flawed. Like, and it's just which makes it, like, flawed characters are just the best, because then you can relate to each one of them, and I think it makes for a good villain or a good hero, doesn't it? Like, just it's really good. Great games. I want another God of War. Like, I know we just had one, but he's another one. That's so good, man. So good.
I had a few movie ones if you want as well. Just let's
hear them. Let's hear them.
So for movie ones, Doom, we mentioned that I think last week. For Van Forstic, he was awful. Malekith from Thor: The Dark World was just disappointing. It was hardly in the film. And finally, I had the kind of a villain, Deadpool from Wolverine Origins, because it was just a very bad interpretation of him.
I think even Stryker in that, when I think especially like with the guy who played Stryker in that film as well, because you've got Brian Cox who plays it in X2, who is
Aye,
brilliant,
brilliant. Aye.
like so good as Stryker and so menacing, and it goes back to that thing what Jack mentioned about like you see the reason, and Stryker hates mutants because his son was a mutant and what he did to his wife and stuff like that, and like sort of like melted her brain essentially, and like it made their life miserable. So you can see why he hates mutants and why he's got this sort of vendetta against them. Whereas the Stryker and the Wolverine film's just a bit of a dick, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And then you're right. Obviously, Deadpool is an abomination. Quite literally at the end of that film.
Yep.
But it's a bad film in general. To be fair, like not
Awful.
good. No, I couldn't think of worst. But you're probably right with Malekith as well. Again, not a great movie.
I was just going to say, I think like in the things that we've spoke about with like Thanos and that, they kind of make the film because you've got like a good, obviously, antagonist. Whereas when you've not got that in a film like Thor: The Dark World, anything else, any other flaws in the film become even more obvious because you've not got anything to kind of work against.
I think as well, like, with a good villain, you should be kind of excited when they're on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like for their scenes, do you know what I mean? And like I think of like, have you seen Widows?
No.
It's not great. It's all right. It's fine. But Daniel Kaluuya's in it, and he plays this awful person. Like he's such an evil little man, but he's so captivating. See when like every time he's on, he's so menacing as well, and you're just like every time he's on screen, you're just sort of drawn to this. And he's not the main like antagonist of the film. That's a side character, but like he's such a great little villain in that. And like with Malekith, like I don't know if I really remember any of his scenes. And I think like I struggle to think of worse. Like there's a few like and I mean, the MCU is bad for this, isn't it? Where like there's villains that you like, but you just don't get enough of them to really like that you really. Sorry, one that I did mean to bring up that is one of my favourite villains. I try to stay away from the MCU, but I just one of my favourite villains is Killmonger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think he's incredible. And again, goes back to that reason you know why he is, why he's doing what he's doing, sort of thing. He's just such a. I just like see the little bit when he like beats T'Challa and he's just like, I'm your king now, and all the rest of it, and he's just such a. And I think we mentioned this like back in the movie podders days, like the camera shots at that scene as well, like with the angle it, like the camera's pointing down at T'Challa and it's pointing up at Killmonger to make him look like so big and menacing as well. Like it's just such a great scene, man. Like yeah, he's up there from like my favorite villains.
I need to go back
some good ones. I think like Ultron as well is good.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch Black Panther. I've not watched it in a very long time. I need to.
Yeah,
I think I need to give it another go.
Oh, could you? Were you not keen on it?
No, I liked it, but I just don't think I liked it as much as what most other people did. I had no issue with the film at all. It was just I wasn't as buzzed for it as what everybody else was. I think.
My only issue with Black Panther is that they kill off Claw in that film, who I think again I loved him in Ultron.
Yeah,
his little scene with Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch when they're trying to like threaten him, and he's just no bothered at all, man. It's so good. What is that? A cocklefish or something? It's like whoop 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 whoop. Oh, so good, man. I love him. He's good in it. Yeah, worst. I don't know. I just can't think. I just can't think of like worst performances. I'm more of a positive guy, Ryan. I like to stay positive. Like,
that's just okay. I'll take care of the negatives. I'm quite happy being negative.
Any more, and I'll jump on the bandwagon.
Nah, that's kind of who I had for my awful or not good villains. I'm sure there's plenty more that we've not captured. I'd seen General Hux has been one because he does a flip quite quick. I think I can't remember what film it is, but he goes. I thought he was being a good villain. He was kind of being that Imperial person who's like the wee lackey, and then he just kind of flips to the rebels quite easily, and I was like, I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. So what you been watching and playing?
Um, I've not been on too much, but when I have been on, it's been either Marvel Snap or Marvel Rivals, all about the Marvel. Not really played a single thing other than that, to be honest. I have
Yeah.
been watching more Silent Witness. So again, we've been kind of getting into that. Um, enjoy like whodunit things and enjoy trying to feel
Yeah.
clever working it out. So yeah, I've been watching a wee bit of Silent Witness.
Cool.
I don't think we watched it. I can't remember if I spoke about it in the last time we watched that film. Um,
You live
the
in time.
We Live in Time. Yeah, I don't know if I
No,
mentioned that in the last.
you hadn't watched it by that point. Maybe so.
Yeah, watched that. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was I feel like it was a good film about what, or kind of ideally what a relationship should look like between two people, and yeah,
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, it's.
I feel like because there was a bit at the end where her lying had been exposed, and even despite that, he stuck with her, and there was a wee moment when she knew she'd fucked up, and he took her hand, and I just thought that was just a nice wee moment. But doesn't matter sometimes what your other half will do. If you love them, you'll be there for them and
Yeah, yeah.
support them. So, and I wholeheartedly get behind your message of those two being a real life couple because they were very good together. I bought into the relationship
Yeah.
quite easily.
They're both brilliant in it though. Like it's such a great performances from, and it's also two actors that I really like. Like
Yeah.
they're not just in that film. Like I really like them in I think everything they've been in. I don't think I've seen them give a bad performance, either of them. But it's just all the little quiet moments, like the like see when she's telling him at the start about like the situation. I mentioned this last week, and just Garfield's acting in that is brilliant. He's because he's not saying anything, just like it's just on his face. And then do you know the bit when they have that wee, you just spoke about when they sort of like they have that wee fight and sort of thing, and again, Florence Pugh carries a lot of the sort of louder scenes in that moment, and she starts talking about how like, did you ever think like how I wanted my daughter to see me and stuff like that, like not just as like someone who's dying, but like someone who even while she was dying could achieve these things, and so you sort of like empathize with her, do you know what I mean, for like still trying to do it. But see when Garfield puts the wedding invitations in the bin,
Yeah.
it's like it's quite heartbreaking, isn't it? Like
Yeah. I think
good film.
the only thing I didn't enjoy about it though was the time jumping stuff. Sometimes I lost track of where I was supposed to be, and I was trying to base where they were based on her haircut, and basically
Yeah,
to
no,
try and
that's
figure out where we were.
yeah. That I guess I could see that. I could see like, oh,
Because there was
especially because like the bit I was confused about at first is like, see when he's in the shop and he's got a wedding ring on. I thought that was he was married to Florence Pugh, and then he sees getting a divorce, and so like, um,
the bit that got me was like they have the kind of conversation where she's in at the doctor's at the start and saying like what the situation is, and she can have either 6 shitty months, or sorry, 6 good months or 12 shitty months. I think it is, and she has a conversation with him in the car park saying, "I would rather have 6 good months." I think essentially, and then it jumps. We go further on in the film, and then you get to a point where he writes a letter to her, and you don't get to know what's kind of said in that letter, but I took it to mean that he was happy to go with that 6 months thing, but then she's still getting all her treatment and everything, and so it seems like she's still having her a 12 shitty months. So I got a bit confused as to what the letter was actually about then and what he was saying to her, because I'm sure she says something about that as well. So yeah, and Charlene was the same. She was saying I wasn't quite sure what was going on there because it felt like he was saying he was on board with the 6 months thing now and not the
well,
12 months.
she did say at the end of that conversation in the car park though, didn't she, that she was going to do the 12 months?
But it felt like she was doing that because of his reaction and how he was being.
Yeah,
So that's how I thought he wrote a letter maybe saying, how he felt about the situation, but he was wanting to give her the best 6 months of her life, but then you see her continuing on with treatment and all that.
I don't remember the letter.
Yeah, it's a bit when he goes into, like, she comes into the living room, like, is there something, like, there's a trail in the, she comes into the house or something, and there's a trail on the floor for her to follow with carrots and that.
Oh, yeah, and he asked her to marry her. That one.
Yeah. So I thought it was, again, that's what I thought was going on, but then, as I say, you still see her having the treatment and spewing and all that, so it doesn't seem like she's having those best 6 months.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, excellent. A lot, and also fun. Like, I don't know, that sounds we've spoken about, like, but it's quite fun. And I think I said this, like, I don't know if I said it last week or on my letterbox, like, Florence Pugh's character's funny in it. Like,
yeah,
she's like, I like it. Good. Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
Nice. I've not watched any films since we last spoke. Hoping to go to the cinema this upcoming weekend to see the Bob Dylan biopic, and we'll watch something else as well. I don't know what. Finished the first season of Squid Games. Brilliant, man. Great TV. I know. I don't know if it's a Sui Korean TV series that's on Netflix. You might not have heard of it. I think I'm quite like on the ball, fresh with this. Really good. Apparently they've done a second season. Well, I know that because we've started the second season. Which I get, first 2 episodes, really good, really enjoying it. The first season's great. It's like, do you know when you like things get hyped up, and I don't know if you mentioned this, and you're like, like, it'll never be as good. Like, people are hyping it up, there's no way it's that good, and then you watch it, and it's like, oh no, like, these people were right. This deserves the hype, sort of thing. And that's at least how I feel about it. Still watching The Traitors. I think it's got one more week to go. And we spoke about it before, we watched Gladiators. Playing Marvel Rivals. I have tanned Marvel Rivals. And I've been back on Snap, and we were playing a game. We were playing... I was in my living room on Saturday night, or Friday night, I can't remember which night it was, playing Snap. And I played against this little person, and they started emoting at me. And I was like, and I looked at the username, and it was you.
It was me. I had woke up because I couldn't sleep. I was having issues with my skin, and so I went to the toilet. I was on the toilet and loaded up Snaps. I thought, I'll just have a wee game here just before I go downstairs or something. And same, first thing I see is the clan tag, and then Omninoob, and I was like, oh my goodness. And so I started spamming the emotes like nothing else, and you were only reacting, and I was like, oh no.
And then I looked, and it's because you went to Snap, and I was like, and then I snapped first because I was just like, I'll snap with you. And then I saw your name, and I was just like, that's Ryan. I was like, show my phone to Amelia. Let me look. I've just matched Ryan in my game. And then I messed it up. I messed it up so badly.
Yeah,
that stupid last switch hands thing messed me up.
Full of a took.
Oh, what we do need to decide, Ryan, for next week is what film are we going to watch?
I don't know.
So we got 3 suggestions.
All right, okay, go for it.
Oh, we got 4 suggestions actually. We got Francis.
Never seen it.
Which is Noah Baumbach. I've not seen it either. 42, the Jackie Robinson story.
Never seen it.
I've seen that one. But that's fine, we can watch that. It's not a problem. Francis. Interstellar.
Sure, we have both seen that many times.
Very good.
That would have been good for a couple of weeks ago, because I mentioned Charlene's just watched it for the first time, so that would have been good.
And Shutter Island. Francis Ha is called actually. How long is that? I'm up for watching a short one. That's only an hour and 26 minutes.
Yeah, I would go with that.
Francis Ha.
Yep.
Nice one. So for next week we're going to watch Francis Ha, and then we'll have a wee discussion about it. It does have 92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And I like that Noah Baumbach's quite well liked, does he not? So
yeah, I think I've only seen Marriage Story from him, big Greta Gerwig fan, and I know she's just in this. She's not.
They're an item, are they not though?
Yeah, they're a couple, yeah. But I've only seen, I think of his films, Marriage Story.
Okay, that's a film I need to watch. I feel would be a good watch, and I've seen like probably like
Yeah, I thought like so that's when Joaquin Phoenix won for Joker Best Actor, but I thought not Garfield, sorry, another Andrew. What's his name? I'm so bad with names these days.
Yeah,
Andrew Drive. Sorry, Adam, not Andrew. Adam Driver. Could have won for Best Actor that year. Thought he was brilliant in Marriage Story. Cool. Yeah, so Francis Ha, we'll watch that for next week and we'll have a wee extended discussion on it. We'll put it in the chat.
Cool.
Nice. I think that's us. I'm going to go do a food shop. What are you doing, Ryan?
Tidying up, doing some cleaning, edit the podcast, and then that'll be me. On tonight for some gaming.
I might see you tonight. I don't know yet.
You will.
I might see you tonight. Well. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.